Again, you can see our big 200mm fan up here in the front, intake fan. You can remove this fan, from what I've been told, and replace it with two traditional 120mm fans. Now, removing the front of this case is supposed to be really easy, but and this is watching Mr. Rodney Reynolds again. There's a latch, and I can see it here. Cool. So you pull. Hey, how awesome is that? You can see the built-in dust filter. And it actually is, which I'm really impressed with, even though it looks like to the camera that this is just honeycomb. This is actually foam underneath, behind the honeycomb. Maybe you can look at it this way and see. It's actually foam. That is what I've been waiting for. Does that go all the way up to the, it sure does, to the 5.25 or 5 1/4 inch bays, and it sure does. Now, of course, there's little gaps in between there where dust is going to get through, but this is still a huge step forward. Every dust filter I've ever seen on any case has just been that stupid honeycomb that you can see on the front here. That it does not do anything to avoid dust. Now, it avoids cat hair and things like that, but anyway, so here's the front of the case naked. There you can see our fancy PC board that controls our buttons and whatnot. And I'll show you that up here because I haven't yet. There is the fan speed control switch. Goes from low, there's high, down to low. And if you push it, it's supposed to turn the lights on and off for all the fans in the case. This is a lighted power supply button. I like the way these buttons are already. They're not traditional mushy buttons, spring-loaded buttons. They're the clicky type. Don't know what you'd call it, a membrane switch. I really like that. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 USB ports up top. I'm sure they're USB 2.0 compatible. And then you have headphone and microphone jacks. HD audio or AC97, I'm sure. So, pretty cool. Now look here at this behemoth of a fan. This is another 200mm fan. Huge. Huge. And it's actually really pretty. You know what's going to be a shame? Is in 6 months, after this thing's run for 6 months, and these clear blades are going to get all dirty. But it's beautiful. Oh, what we got here? Down here at the bottom, I guess just this intake spot. It looks like something's meant to go there, and I may just having a brain fart. May just be having a brain fart, but who knows? But supposedly you can mount 120mm fans here. That may be what that's for. I believe it comes with an adapter plate or something. I don't know why you would want to when you have this big sucker, but I guess if you wanted to get rid of all the crystal clear fans and replace everything, I don't know. But it's nice that you have options. As you can see here at the bottom, if you look carefully, I know the lighting isn't the best, but it gives you clear access to see through the case and see that this is actually vented. It doesn't have any of that foam on it, but it does have the honeycomb stuff at least, so it'll keep large cat hair and things like that. But generally you're not going to have a problem with the input fans on the power supply pulling in dust if they're facing the bottom. If anything facing underneath your case is just not going to pull in dust. Dust settles, it doesn't creep up from the bottom. So my only complaint so far about this case, and I haven't even put anything in it yet, is that they use plastic feet. Now this is going to make the case slide really easy, which could be a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. I don't understand why they couldn't have used rubber feet, or made the feet part rubber at least, and left the plastic rings to attach it. Oddly enough, one of my biggest complaints with my previous case, the Antec Solo, was that within a year of having the case, all 4 of my feet were gone, because they were rubber, but they were just glued on. They weren't really secured to the case, they were just glued onto the sheet metal, to the painted piano black finish sheet metal. So eventually they all slid off, you know, came unstuck, and now the case just slides around wherever you want it to go because it has no feet. But that's Mom's problem now. So in this bag looks like either 1 or 2 adapters to use a regular 120mm fan. That may be for the front of the case like I was talking about, or for the rear of the case. Who knows? I'll have to read the instruction manual. Or it could be an extra option to go inside the case somewhere. You never know. If there's one thing this case is not lacking, it is options. I mean, I see loads of possibilities. Look at all these places for cables to come through. Man. And the case is extra long, and it will, and I'm told, and from reading the literature, it will accommodate any of the current video cards on the market. So with my Antec Solo, I had to actually Dremel out, well, a Dremel and a jigsaw at one point, a chunk of the drive cage, so that my GTX 280, well, at the time it was an 8800 Ultra, and then later on the GTX 280 would fit in the case. Shows you how long I've had the case. 8800 Ultra was 2 years ago. Anyway, what's in the box? I'm guessing it's going to be screws, because I haven't seen any baggie of screws or anything like that yet. And, oh, nice. An extra thumb screw. Very cool, in case you lose one. Screws, these look like, these are screws for the slot covers, or to hold the motherboard in. Same deal. Another set of screws. Can't see the thread size on those. I think those are for the motherboard tray. Here is the keyboard and mouse security lock. Keep your keyboard and mouse from accidentally getting yanked out. And here's a whole bunch of big honking screws that I have no idea what they're for. They're probably, given the sheer number of them, oh, no idea how long the camera's been blurry like that. Probably given the sheer number of these screws, these are for the 3 1/4 inch or 3 1/2 inch drive bays. We have a couple of zip ties, always handy, very nice. And of course, everybody recognizes what these are. If you don't, step away now before I kill you. These are motherboard standoffs. What else do we have in here? Very cool. These are fan screws. Everybody recognizes those because you always have too many of them until you actually need them, and then you can't find them. These are screws that are specially made so that they will tap into, go through the case and then tap into the plastic material that the fan's made out of. And that's it. Empty box. Cool. Cool, cool, cool.